Welcome to Soul Stories, where every tale touches the heart, inspires the mind, and stays with the soul. Amina pushed open the tall glass door of the upscale bank, stepping inside with hesitant, quiet footsteps. Her clothes were faded, her scarf loosely wrapped, and her old shoes sloshed softly with each movement. She held an equally worn-out debit card in her hand, gripping it like something fragile yet precious. Her eyes carried the kind of exhaustion that didn't come from lack of sleep, but from life itself. The bank was buzzing with noise, well-dressed customers chatting loudly, heels clicking against marble floors, and staff members offering polite smiles that seemed to disappear the moment they looked at her. Amina felt every stare pinning her down like a weight as she joined the line. Behind her stood Mr. Kamal, a tall man with a polished suit, shiny watch, and an expression that screamed self-importance. He checked his expensive phone inside, loudly, as though her presence itself was an inconvenience. Leaning slightly toward the manager standing nearby, he whispered, but loud enough for Amina to hear, "Why do people like her even come into this bank? She probably has nothing." The manager chuckled quietly, trying to hide his grin. "Some people just waste our time," he replied, eyeing Amina with thinly veiled irritation. Amina's heart squeezed, but she didn't say anything. She had learned long ago that speaking back only invited more humiliation, so she simply took a deep breath and kept her eyes on the floor. Her fingers trembled slightly around the debit card as she moved forward. When her turn finally came, she stepped to the counter. The clerk gave her a quick dismissive glance before returning his eyes to the screen as if she wasn't worthy of more than a second's attention. "Yes, what do you need?" he asked. Bored, Amina swallowed a I just want to see my balance." The clerk raised an eyebrow, his lips twitching with annoyance. He took the card from her slowly, as if it might be dirty. Behind her, she heard Mr. Kamal snort back a laugh. "Her balance. Probably can't buy a sandwich," he said loudly, earning soft chuckles from a few people in line. Amina's face warmed with embarrassment, but her voice remained soft. "Only need to check it, that's it," the clerk said, rolling his eyes. "Fine, let me look." He clicked a few buttons lazily without interest. The staff around him seemed impatient, as if serving her was a burden. The air felt heavy, judgmental, and unbearably quiet. Amina stood there, silent and small, unaware that within the next few seconds, every eye in the bank would be shocked wide open. As the clerk began typing, the soft clicking of the keyboard echoed strangely loudly in the bank's polished hall. Amina stood completely still, her shoulders slightly hunched as though trying to make herself invisible. She could feel eyes on her, judging, mocking, assuming. Behind her, Kamal's loud laugh cut through the air like a knife. "Her balance probably won't even buy a cup of coffee," he said, voice dripping with arrogance. A few people in line snickered, some hiding their smiles behind their hands, others not bothering at all. Even the security guard near the entrance smirked before looking away. It seemed as if the entire room had silently agreed that Amina was someone to be looked down on. Amina's cheeks burned with humiliation. She lowered her head, letting her hair fall slightly over her face. Her fingers tightened around the edge of the counter as if holding on to something solid might stop her from collapsing inside. She had endured ridicule before, but somehow, in this place filled with wealth, luxury, and polished surfaces, the sting was sharper. The clerk, still wearing a half-annoyed expression, clicked lazily on the screen. His fingers moved without any real care. He barely glanced at Amina as he worked, as if she was nothing more than a meaningless task to get over with. Behind her, Kamal wasn't finished. Look at her card," he said loudly. "It looks older than my briefcase. She probably found it on the street." Another round of laughter followed. Amina squeezed her eyes shut for a moment. "Just get through this," she told herself silently. "Just see the balance and leave." The clerk suddenly paused. His fingers froze mid-air, suspended above the keyboard. His posture stiffened as if something had punched the breath out of him. The lazy annoyance on his face drained away, replaced by an expression Amina couldn't read: confusion, disbelief, maybe fear. He leaned closer to the screen. His eyes widened. His mouth fell open. Just a little. His heartbeat visibly quickened in the rise and fall of his chest. A strange silence rippled across the counter. The click-clack of typing had stopped. The mocking whispers behind her softened. Even. Kamal's smug grin faltered as he noticed the sudden change in the clerk's demeanor. Kamal looked up slowly, frowning. Is everything okay?" she asked softly. The clerk didn't answer. He couldn't. He kept staring at the screen as if it held something impossible, something too shocking to process. The manager, noticing his frozen state, walked toward the counter. "And what is the problem now?" he asked impatiently. "But When he leaned over the clerk's shoulder and saw the numbers glowing on the screen. Asterisk, he stopped breathing too. Asterisk, the manager hurried toward the counter with quick, irritated steps, clearly expecting to scold the clerk for delaying the line. But the moment he reached the desk and glanced at the screen, his expression froze completely. The annoyance vanished. His eyes widened, and his jaw slackened as though someone had ripped the floor out from beneath him. Asterisk, for a moment, the entire bank fell into a strange, suffocating silence. Asterisk, the other customers noticed the shift. The laughter died down. Whispering stopped mid. Even the security guard straightened, sensing that something unusual, something big was happening. The glowing numbers on the monitor were impossible to ignore. $1,804,720.19. Amina's account balance. The manager blinked several times, convinced. His eyes were tricking him. He leaned closer, pressing a few keys to confirm the account details. His fingers suddenly shaky. The balance didn't change. It remained the same, shining boldly on the screen like a secret finally revealed. Asterisk, $1 million, more than $1 million. In the account of a woman they had dismissed with a single glance. Asterisk, the clerk swallowed hard, his throat visibly moving. Sir, it's real, he whispered. The manager nodded slowly, still stunned. This is a trust fund, he murmured. Activated 8 months ago. He scrolled through the details, breath catching as he understood it was set up by her mother. Years of savings, investments, all accumulated. Behind Amina, Mr. Carmel's smug smile evaporated like smoke, his face drained of color, turning pale with embarrassment. Asterisk, his expensive watch suddenly felt pointless, his arrogance exposed. He had mocked her, he had laughed at her. Asterisk, and now he stood face to face with reality. The woman he belittled was richer than him. Asterisk, Amina, still unaware of the storm around her, took a small step forward. Her voice trembled with concern. Asterisk, is something wrong? Asterisk, the manager turned to her, his earlier arrogance gone, replaced by pure respect, or more fear. He straightened his posture immediately. He began, but his voice cracked. He cleared his throat and tried again. Ma'am, you're one of our biggest clients. Asterisk, Amina blinked, confused. My balance. It's okay, asterisk, okay, the manager repeated, almost breathless. Ma'am, you are a priority platinum client. You have access to our VIP lounge, private advisors, special management services. Kamal staggered back a step as reality slapped him harder than any insult. The woman he ridiculed without mercy was a millionaire. Asterisk, Amina looked from the clerk to the manager, trying to understand their stunned expressions. Her heart pounded softly as she whispered, my mother, she really left this for me. And for the first time since she walked into the bank, every eye was on her with not judgment. Asterisk, for a long moment, no one in the bank moved. The air felt heavy, almost trembling with the weight of what had just been revealed. Customers who had mocked Amina lowered their eyes, ashamed. Staff members who had dismissed her stood stiff and silent. The atmosphere, once filled with arrogance and laughter, now pulsed with guilt. Asterisk, Kamal, who had been the loudest among them, took a hesitant step forward. His expensive shoes clicked softly against the marble floor, such a small sound, yet it carried a world of regret behind it. Asterisk, madam, I'm sorry for earlier, he said, voice trembling. The confidence that usually coated every word of his was gone. His shoulders drooped slightly, his pride deflated. Asterisk, Amina turned slowly to face him. Her eyes were calm, steady, not angry, not bitter, just deeply tired of the way the world works. For the first time, Kamal truly looked at her, not at her clothes, not at her old card, but at her dignity. Asterisk, Amina's voice was soft, but her words carried the strength of truth. Asterisk, you only respected me after seeing numbers, she said. Asterisk, that tells me who you truly are. The sentence hit harder than any slap could. Kamal swallowed, unable to respond. Asterisk, Amina didn't wait for an explanation. She didn't need one. She gently took her card back from the counter, slid it into her purse and held her head high. The dignity she showed wasn't something money could buy. It was something life had taught her, something hardship had carved into her soul. Asterisk, she began walking toward the exit, and as she did, something incredible happened. Asterisk's people moved aside for her, quietly, respectfully. Asterisk, the same people who had laughed at her minutes ago now couldn't even meet her eyes. Asterisk, even the security guard stepped back, lowering his head in apology. Asterisk, as Amina stepped outside, the warm sunlight greeted her like a gentle blessing. It spilled over her shoulders, making her worn clothes shine softly, creating a golden outline around her silhouette. She paused, inhaling a steady breath, letting the warmth touch her face. Asterisk, in that moment, she looked like a queen, not because she had millions, but because she carried herself with grace despite how the world treated her. Asterisk, inside the bank, Kamal remained frozen. His expensive watch suddenly felt too tight. His fancy suit suddenly felt too small. Asterisk, he stared at the door she had walked through. realization slowly sinking into him like cold rain. Asterisk's true worth isn't written on clothes, or cards, or appearances. True worth lies in character, something he had failed to show, and a mean that had shown it effortlessly.